Hi, my name's Simon from CramTheExam and welcome to another video where I walk you through another English exam question. In this video we're going to have a look at the FCE First B2 listening paper, in particular the Part 2 sentence completion question. This question you can find on the excellent website examenglish.com. Really recommend the website. Plenty of wonderful resources and practice papers, practice questions to help you get ready for your FCE and CAE and other English exams. So if you haven't checked it out, I recommend that you do. Let's just go through a few basics before I explain why the answers are the answers. First of all, the way that you answer the question. On the exam paper, you have to write your answer in capital letters, and you have to write one letter per box. So it's just like the use of English exam question. So even though your answers here are written in lowercase, your answers will be written in uppercase. About spelling. Minor spelling mistakes are okay. Small spelling mistakes are okay, as long as it's clear what it is that you're trying to say. If the spelling mistake is such that the examiner is unsure about what it is that you're trying to say, or that your answer doesn't really look like the answer, then you won't get the mark. But small spelling mistakes are okay. And finally, you'll only be able to put in a maximum of 3 words in each answer. No more. So if you write 4, 5, 6 word answer, it's going to be wrong. You're going to lose the point. So anywhere from 1 to 3 words. And those are the basic rules about the Part 2 sentence completion task. Okay, so let's find out why the answers are the answers. The first question says it will take 37 hours for the new form of transport to travel from London to where? So straight away as you're reading this question, you should be picking up key vocabulary. London, 37 hours, transport. And you should be ready for vocabulary which either says exactly that or something very, very similar. And we can see, if we have a look at the script, you can see here that we've got 37 hours, we've got London, and then we've got a new form of transport. So you're paying attention for that vocabulary, and straight away we can see that our answer is New York. From London to New York in 37 hours. So it's not just reading the question, but also making a note of what you think might be the key vocabulary and listening out for that key vocabulary. Question number 2, it says, unlike crowded jets, the air crews will allow passengers to travel in. So we're looking for some kind of contrast here because it says unlike crowded jets. So certainly we'll be looking for jets, possibly crowded jets. And then we're talking about the method of how you would travel in the air crews. So let's scroll down to the next part. And in that next bit by Mark, it says, but I think everyone would agree there's nothing pleasant about flying in a small, crowded passenger jet. So we've got that vocabulary link right there. And then it says, it aims to carry people to their destination. So this links to travel. And straight away after that, you've got the answer that we're looking for, comfort and style. So it's good to listen for direct vocabulary links, but also we've got to have a good knowledge of vocabulary, a practiced sense of synonyms and related words in order to catch that synonymous language which also forms vocabulary link. One good way, perhaps one of the only ways to practice catching this is simply practice listening. Get onto the BBC. Well, first of all, the BBC News you can catch on YouTube. Sky News Live you can catch on YouTube. CNN, ABC, whatever news source you want to follow from America, or from England, or from various other places, you're going to find them on YouTube, as well as many, many other things. It's a question of just listening, trying your best. That's the hardest way to do it, but ultimately it's the way that's going to give you the best benefits. So let's go on to number 3. The air crews can travel at low altitudes if there's something interesting to see. So the key idea, the key vocab that we're listening for here is low altitudes, or something that sounds like low altitudes. And we've got that here. In the next bit, Mark says, where it says it would be able to fly at just a few hundred feet above the ground. Few hundred feet above the ground is at low altitude, and it would fly. At low altitude. There we go, got it out. If there was something interesting to see. And that's the key vocabulary that we're looking for. If there is something interesting to see. If we write down on the ground 6 words, we would lose the point. Hydrogen fuels the airship and also provides something for the people on board. So key vocabulary: hydrogen, fueling or power or something related to that, and people on board. So let's scroll down to the next part where it says Mark. And straight away Mark says, well, the planet will be powered not by hot air, but another type of air, hydrogen. So we've listened to the vocabulary. We know we're on question number 4. Hydrogen explains a little bit about hydrogen, capable of lifting weights, and you can also use hydrogen fuel to provide on-board power and drinking water. So difficult here because our answer is actually given qualifying adjectives as well. So it's not just power, but on-board power and drinking water, not just water. So you've got to pick out the most important parts of that in order to get the answer correct. So this is quite a difficult question. The Hindenburg airship disaster killed 35 people. Now the conversation moves on to the Hindenburg and the disaster that killed that many people, and it's a bit tricky here because in our answer we've got lots of numbers. So it's a question of choosing the correct number and understanding which number relates to what. So clearly 1937 relates to the date at which something happened, killed 35 people, there were 97 people on board. So you've got to refine your listening skills to catch the details. But here we've got a clear vocabulary link: killed 35, killed 35. For question number 6, scientists are keen to develop transport options which are both sustainable and environmentally friendly. So scientists are keen to develop transport options. It says here, scientists are looking at ways that can create transport options, which I guess relates to keen to develop. Develop, yes. Keen, I'd struggle to find the vocabulary to link to that. So this is quite a difficult question. But we've got our 2 options here. We've got environment, which is mentioned here, environmentally friendly, and then we've got our answer here, sustainable. Now here, sustainable is a word you might have spelling difficulties with, but as I said, minor spelling mistakes are allowed, and if you get sustainable wrong, chances are you're probably going to get that letter wrong. Maybe you'll drop the I, but it's pretty clear it is your answer will be the answer if you spell it incorrectly, so nothing too much to worry about there. Number 7, the air crews will carry a total of 100 people. If we move on to what Mark says, well, first of all, it won't be full of people. One air cruise ship will carry just 100 people. So just 100 people is a total of 100 passengers. So there's our vocabulary link. Number 8, the luxury features on board include private apartments, a bar and a glass floor. So obviously you're listening out for private apartments and a bar. And you'll see that here, right at the end of that paragraph, there's going to be a bar, private apartments, and even a glass floor. All of the vocabulary links are close to the answer, and everything is bunched together. Question number 9, compared to airports, the air cruise has the potential to land closer to urban centres. So looking for vocabulary, something about airports, something to do with contrast, and then we're landing closer to something. And then it says in our text, compared to airports. So there we go, we've got a clear vocabulary link here. So your eyes should prick up at that moment that Mark says compared to airports. These are much smaller, so airships would be able to land much closer, vocabulary link there, and there we have our answer, to urban centres. For question number 10, the concept is getting a lot of attention from a Korean company which makes electrical goods. Now, our answer is bundled up in the noun string that we've got here. Korean electrical goods companies. Indeed, it says one of the major, which will then relink to A, because when we use that article, we can only talk about one. So, or rather a singular form. So this Korean company is one of the major electrical goods companies. And that's why our answer is electrical goods. So you have to listen carefully to dig that answer out of the listening task. And there we go. I know this is the first time that we've practiced the sentence completion, and this question was quite a tricky question. But the main basics about how you prepare for this question I laid out as we went through the answers. So it's a question of getting the listening practice in. If you just turn up to the exam and just do the listening, you might get lucky, you might have fantastic skills at listening, and you might get full marks. But for most people, including me, because my listening skills are terrible as well, it involves practice as much as you can. And we'll be practicing the sentence too another 2 times over the next 11 weeks or so. And of course, there's plenty of exam practice in the course book. If you've got one of those course books, and certainly my website CramTheExam will help you out with that as well. Okay, and there we go. That's why the answers are the answers. If you've got any questions about any of my explanations, or if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below, and I'll quite happily get into that conversation with you. And I'll see you again soon for another exam walkthrough video. Bye bye.